Hello everyone, welcome back. Face cam this time, going back to how I was like 2 years ago. Today, we have a tier list for you guys. We're doing an anime tier list. These are all the anime that I've seen, so I can give you guys a good ranking, some reviews on each of them. I did a horror movie tier list a couple years ago, and that seemed to be pretty popular, so let's try anime this time. Big weeb, self-report, so you guys will see my anime taste. I do have a list of things to watch, so if it's not on there, it might be on my list to watch. Let me know in the comments below some of your favorite anime, what you like to watch, some of your favorite genres and stuff like that. And without further ado, let's get into it. We got the tiers here. We got incredible, great, good, mid, not the worst, and stinky. So I have these in alphabetical order. We're just gonna go right from the top, starting out pretty strong with Attack on Titan. If you haven't seen it, it is a pretty wild ride, especially now that it's over. I would say go through and watch the whole thing. It's a great series, but watching it as it came out, the different breaks in the seasons, especially the last season that was like 4 seasons, titled The Last Chapter, is a bit frustrating. But now that it's all there and you can binge it, I would say go for it. That seems like a great idea. Seems like it'd be a better experience than watching it as it comes out, maybe, just because you have it all condensed. I think it'd be a good viewing opportunity. The story's great. Big fan of it. If you don't know about it, humanity is stuck in these 3 walls, and there are basically giant humans called Titans that want to break in and eat them. And it's just like humanity's last survival. How are they going to survive? Are they going to attack all the Titans? Are they going to be attacked by the Titans? If you haven't seen it, go take a look. It's very, very cool. Very great show. I'm going to put Attack on Titan in great tier. I think it's great. For my viewing experience, the breaks in the seasons and how they did the last season was just like, it was 3 seasons all titled The Last. I was not the biggest fan of that aspect. So that's why it's going in great and not incredible. But I do think the story is very, very good. Next, we have The Average Life of High School Boys. This is a hard contrast from the last series. This is like a slice of life comedy anime. Very fun. It's like the boy version of Nichijou, which we're going to get to later. But if you know what that is, it's just very funny, like comedy skits, very good, casual viewing, very fun. Shout out to Dan from college who introduced me to a lot of anime, including this. So I'm going to put it in good tier. Very good show, very fun to watch, casual. Next, we have Baki. One of the few anime I've watched dubbed. I love the characters. I think it's super goofy. I think the fights are very interesting, but fun and goofy. I think Baki starts with 5 death row convicts escaping because of like singularity. So they all escape to be defeated in combat. And so they, of course, all come to Japan. And Baki's there and he gets some fights. It's great. Baki is a fighter who's trying to get strong enough to fight his dad, Yujiro Hanma, who's like the strongest creature on the planet. He's like a walking natural disaster, pretty much. So Baki's got a long way to go, and you see his journey. It's a cool show. Lots of cool martial arts thrown in. It's very much based on real life martial arts, but you could tell the author goes the extra step and also almost makes it goofy with how it's portrayed. But it's a good show. I really like it. I'm gonna put it in good. And then Baki Hanma is like the Naruto Shippuden of Baki, I would say. Although Baki has another series that I haven't watched called Baki the Grappler, which is before Baki, which was like early 2000s, late 90s, I believe. So I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things. So maybe Baki is the Naruto Shippuden of Baki, and Baki Hanma, I don't know if I would consider it the Boruto. It's really good though. Baki Hanma, Son of Ogre, is the other tagline. Really good. You get a more in-depth view of like Baki training and trying to actually surpass his dad. And they do have a fight near the end of what they have for Baki Hanma. So I want to see more, definitely. I know there is more. I don't know if they're going to make it a different series or another season, but I like what Netflix has done with it. I'd like to see more, and I'm actually going to put Baki Hanma in great. Fun fact. All right, Blue Exorcist. Very good show. It has lore of like biblical demons and angels and stuff like that. There's some Faust thrown in there. So if you know about Faust, there's some allusions to that. It's a really good show though. The main character, if I remember correctly, I haven't watched it in a while, is the son of the devil. But his powers is suppressed by a sword. But when he takes the sword out of the sheath, his powers come out. And then when his powers come out, all the demons want to hunt him because he's like the son of the devil and they want to get rid of him for reasons. But it's a good show. I really like it. It's got a very compelling story, good characters, good action. I'm going to put it in good tier. Next, we have Castlevania, the anime. Not the new one, which is next, but just plain old Castlevania. Yeah, I have a clothespin that I've been playing with because I have ADHD and I need something to fiddle with. So if you see this on my fingers and I'm talking, that's what that is. But Castlevania is great. Very, very cool animation. Very good story. The fight scenes are bonkers, I'm going to be totally honest. I think that this actually might be the first one that makes it into incredible, just because those fight scenes, and I really like the animation. Characters are also great. Ends on a super high note. Absolutely love the show, if I'm going to be honest. Castlevania Nocturne, the new series that came out, only one season so far as of producing this video. I did enjoy it. They have a whole lot of new characters. It is mostly set up right now, so I'm waiting to see where it goes, but they had some good stuff. I was a fan of what I saw. So I'm going to put it in, I don't know if I would put it up with these. So I'm actually might put it in mid for now. It's pretty middle of the road. Chainsaw Man. Whoo. Oh my. So we have the same studio that did Attack on Titan, MAPPA. Big fan of them. They do awesome stuff. And Chainsaw Man is one of them. It's one of the few mangas that I have and have read. So I know what's coming up in the new seasons, and I'm very excited when it does come out. But season 1 was incredible, I would say. It was very, very good. Loved the animation, loved the characters. The music they put in is great. I just love the series. It's so good. I'm actually going to put that all the way up in incredible. Can't wait for more, gotta say. Cowboy Bebop. A classic. I had it recommended to me so many times. And I was always like, oh, I don't know. Like, I would watch an episode, but I would never get into, like, the binge mood of it. But once I did start binging it, oh boy, did I love it. It'll make you cry. 100%. Like, near the end, it's very sad. It's a very beautiful piece of art, honestly. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. That is another one that's going up in incredible. Yeah, go watch Cowboy Bebop. Next, we have a very popular series, Demon Slayer. Another one that I have the manga for. I've read all of it. There is a hard ending. It's not like other shonen where it just keeps going and going and going. But I do really like Demon Slayer. Great show. The animation is very nice. UFO Table is going bonkers with that. That's the studio. And you can tell as they go and they get more popular, they just put more and more money into it. And the production value is like through the roof now. I think it's one of the highest grossing anime out there. So yeah, love Demon Slayer. I love the portrayal of, they don't even really have powers. It's just like their swordsmanship is so cool and it's based on like nature. But they animate like the water, if it's like a water style kind of a thing, but there's no actual water there. But it's to show like how the movements flow, and it's very cool. I like how they do that. I'm putting in great tier because it is great. I love it. And moving on, we have Devilman Crybaby. I watched this when it came out. I was a lot younger. I was in either early college, late high school. And it was pretty good. The animation I like the art style. Running animation, that is like a classic. I'm going to put a clip of that in here because it's just goofy. Goofier than Naruto. It's just like, whoa! And an interesting twist at the end. But if I'm going to be totally honest, maybe this is because I watched it years ago. Not that memorable. I forget about it a lot. There's nothing else to it. It's just kind of a one and done. I mean, it's good. It's a good short watch. But I'm going to put it in not the worst. Because it's not the worst. It's got some good art style. Got an interesting story. Just not one of my favorites. Haven't watched it since I watched it last. Going on next, we have one of the most probably successful and well-known anime franchises, Dragon Ball. I've only seen 2 of the series, so that's what's on here. We have Dragon Ball Z to start off with. Ooh, love Dragon Ball Z. And the community around it is just so good. Shout out to Team 4-Star and Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It's a great fan series. Obviously the characters and the fights. This isn't even my final form. It's just classic. It's just like anime. It's not cliche because like they created like some hardcore anime tropes. Like the people just standing there yelling, like that is Dragon Ball. Especially Dragon Ball Z. So I'm going to put Dragon Ball Z in good. It is a classic. Actually, I'm going to put Dragon Ball Z in great. I'm going to do it. And then for Dragon Ball Super, which is the other Dragon Ball series I've watched, I'm going to put it in good, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a great series. I mean, totally honest. I think it's very, very good. I like the arcs in it. I like the villains. I like the Tournament of Power. I like the power-ups. The complaint that I and other fans have is we want more. We want more. It ended like years ago, but the manga has more arcs in it. There's more villains, there's more power-ups, there's like a whole other half of Dragon Ball Super there that is not animated. We got some good stuff with the movies, the Broly movie and the superhero movie, but give us more like episodes, come on. And now they're doing the Dragon Ball Daimyo, where they're all babies now. So we're probably not going to see the Moro arc or the Granola arc of Super like anytime soon, which saddens me. But I'd love to see it if it comes out. Still a good anime. I just want more of it. Next we have Dr. Stone. I love it. Art style is pretty funny and goofy. It's a very goofy show. If you don't know the premise, it's humanity gets petrified for thousands of years, but one high school student is like a massive genius. So he was counting the seconds that went by and he was able to break out, and he's trying to restart civilization because he's got that brain power and he knows how to like do chemistry and make stuff so he can harness electricity, and it's a really good show. I highly recommend. Very fun, very good. We're gonna put it in good tier. Next we have Fairy Tail. This is one of those like shonen anime that never ends. I actually self-report, I'd never finished it. I got tired of wading through the filler, and I didn't know what was filler, and then there was a time skip, and I'm like, just there's a lot going on, and I wasn't that invested. I thought it was fun to start out. I kind of felt like it never really got where it was going. All of everybody's attacks are just like cut and paste. Like here's the video file of him doing the attack, and you've seen that video file like 15 times already, but here it is again. So it is not my favorite. I'm actually going to be putting it in A tier. It has some nice qualities. I mean, if you like it, no, obviously I'm not gonna tell you to not like it. If you like it, that is your opinion, and that's totally valid. It's just not really for me. Next, we have some of the Fate series. I've watched 3 of I don't know how many of them there are, but there's a lot. And I've watched 3 of them, and I've enjoyed each one that I've watched. I hear there's an overarching story that's like complicated and out of order. I haven't delved too much into that. I mainly watched it for like the cool fights, which there were plenty. There were definitely plenty. So first off, we have Fate Apocrypha. This was the first one I watched, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. The premise, if you don't know, is that like sorcerers will summon like historical figures, basically like people from myths and legends and history that were like strong, powerful people, and they have extra superpowers. And it's basically like chess. Like there's a person of every type. Like there's an archer and like a person with a sword and a person who is like a rider and rides like an animal or a chariot. There's like a caster, like a wizard person. And it's cool seeing like who is each thing and how they, one, interact with each other, and 2, how the fights are. The fights are awesome. I'm gonna be totally honest. They're pretty poppin'. Animation is very nice. I'm gonna put Fate Apocrypha in good. Next we have Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. This is another UFO table production, and my friend, when he was introducing it to me, was calling it, instead of Unlimited Blade Works, he would say Unlimited Budget Works, because they were just throwing money at this. The animation is super good. The fights are awesome. The story is really good, and I'm gonna put it up in great tier. Next we have Fate Zero. It connects Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. It's like chronologically before, if I remember correctly. I don't remember too much about this one. I thought it was interesting. It doesn't quite stand out as much as the other 2, if I'm going to be totally honest though. So I'm going to put it in mid. Next we have Fire Force, a David Productions production. The animation style and the art style is super cool. The fights are really well done. The premise is, so people can spontaneously combust and turn into these things called infernals, which are basically like fire demons, and they need to be basically put to rest. So there is the Fire Force, who are like, people also have fire powers in this universe as well. So they're people with fire powers fighting fire demons, pretty much. And it's super cool. There's an overarching story that's like pretty compelling. The fights are awesome. I would highly recommend. I want to see more of it. I don't know when the next season's coming out, or if there is going to be a next season, but I think there's definitely more in the manga. I haven't read it, but I just want to see more. I do. I'm going to put it in great tier, actually, because I was a big fan of all of those fight scenes and how they were animated. They're very, very well done. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is a classic. Honestly, if you haven't seen this, I would say finish this video first and then go watch it. It's very good. I think it's like 5 parts. It's one of those shows that has like, it knows. Okay, so there was Full Metal Alchemist and there was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So by the time Brotherhood came out, I believe the manga was done. So the whole overarching story was there, and they were able to capture all of that and make it like mysterious, interesting, like you're discovering what's going on, and like it's just so good. I'm actually probably gonna rewatch it soon. So I'm actually gonna put that all the way up in incredible, because it's incredible. It's so good. Next, kind of a hard contrast, we have Goblin Slayer, which if you haven't seen, I don't know if I would recommend that you do. It's not for the faint of heart. I would say the most interesting thing about it is the D&D like mechanics of the fights that they have. It's like, it's very like, people have like spell slots, resources that are being used. I would say that's the most interesting part. The problem with it is that it's not very, 1, safe for work, 2, it's not safe for work in the way where, I'm trying to explain it in a way that's like, okay, kids don't watch it. Obviously, kids, do not watch this show. Okay, trigger warning here. There's a lot of SA in the show. They don't depict it in a good light, which is good. And kind of talks about the horror of it. Don't watch it if you don't know what you're getting into, and I'm not even fully explaining it well. I mean, if you look up online, you're gonna see what's kind of wrong with the show. I'm actually gonna put that in stinky tier for those reasons. For those reasons. Next, we have Gurren Lagann, which is a fantastic anime. The production quality is great. That was actually my first mech anime, and I loved it. The story is like heart wrenching. Like I almost stopped watching because I got so sad. I'm gonna be honest. So Gurren Lagann, I'm gonna put that in great tier. It's hard to explain the story, but I just recommend you go watch it. It's not that long of a watch. I think it's like a season or two, and it's just really good. It'll hit you in the feels. Next, we have Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter, however it may be said. I watched this one recently, and I was a fan. I really liked it. I liked the characters. I had seen clips of things here and there online, but I never like watched the overarching story. And when I did, I was very surprised, pleasantly. Okay, I hope that doesn't show up too much. Hunter x Hunter. I think the power system is very well done. It has very strict rules, but also the leeway so that people can like do all their cool things. Can that dog shut the fuck up? Oh my god. Ruh, 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 ruh. I'm gonna put Hunter x Hunter in great tier. I love the fights. The fights have awesome setups to where it is like they're hunting. They are hunting. They have a goal and they have an overarching plan of how to get that goal. And when the payoff hits, it's very satisfying. It's great. Next, we have Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Or I believe the Japanese title is Dan Machi. I think there's about 4 seasons of this. I don't know if I finished season 4. It like season 3 and 4 kind of got a little like muddled, and I'm not sure. Some of the fights in this are great. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the fights are really good. Some of the premise is really good, but there's a lot of the female characters thirsting over the main character. A lot. Even to the point where he's getting kidnapped by like various women to try to just make him theirs, and it's like, okay, do we need this in the story? Because he does have one specific love interest, but he's just like other people is just like here and there and there and there, and it's just like it's a lot. It's like just show me the story. So for those reasons, I'm gonna put it in A tier because I think they can. Actually, I'm gonna put it in not the worst. It's not the worst. They do have very good fight scenes, and the premise is nice. I just wish they focused a bit more on that in the plot. But the dungeon is really interesting. The dungeon is cool. They have some interesting storylines regarding that. Next, we got a big one here. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is immediately going up in Incredible. This is one of my favorite anime, if I'm gonna be totally honest. I only put JoJo as a whole and not the separate parts because it is one anime. It's not really different anime, but each part in its own could be. I might just make a tier list video of just doing JoJo parts. I'm gonna be totally honest because they are so different and they are so good. But the show overall, big fan. So yeah, I love JoJo. It's got 6 animated parts, 9 parts total. 3 of which are still, manga, not adapted, but it's another David Productions production. Incredible animation, very true to the manga for a lot of stuff. And the fights are all so interesting. I love the storytelling of it. It's not just like, I am stronger, so I win. It's like characters using their brain power and their powers in creative ways to actually like get the upper hand. So it's very cool. I like it. It's less of like a show of strength and more so a game of chess. So I like it. It's very, very cool. And the villains are all very cool. I like the final fights of each part. They're all very, very awesome. Big fan. Can't recommend it enough. It is a bizarre adventure, I will say. So if you're looking for something that's normal, JoJo is not that. It goes in like 3 different directions every episode. Like if you haven't seen it before, you can't tell where it's going next. If I'm gonna be totally honest, it's very, very wacky and bizarre. Lives up to his name. Next, another one going straight and incredible, Jujutsu Kaisen. Season 2 is currently ongoing as of this recording, but I have all of the printed manga volumes, so I know what happens. And it's incredible. I can't wait for the ending of this season. It's going to be bonkers. It's already been bonkers. The beginning of the season was like a little slow, but it was meant to be slow because the other 2/3 of the season have just been like nuts to butts action. It's been crazy. It's like fight scene after fight scene after fight scene. New characters thrown in. Somebody's getting resurrected from the dead. Somebody dies. Somebody else dies. It's just crazy. Like, I hope I'm not trying to spoil or anything, obviously, because I didn't say any names here, but crazy shit happens. If I'm going to be totally honest, it is insane. I think there's another Mappa production, same as Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man, and it shows. The animators, I hope they're getting rest and not being worked to the absolute bone, but what they are producing is so good, and I'm very thankful for the quality of animation that they've been putting out. It is so nice, and I can't wait for the season to be over so that I can go back and watch it all in one sitting, because I think that would be a great viewing experience. Komi Can't Communicate. This is a very cute slice of life anime, hard contrast from the last thing. The animation is also very, very nice on this. Very cute, very good looking animation, very smooth and clean. I have the manga for this as well, actually. My fiance got me the first copy, and then I read it. I'm like, this is so fucking cute, if I'm gonna be honest. And I've been stuck on it. I've been reading the whole thing. I can't wait for the next one. It's great. It's a very cute story. If you're looking for something that's uplifting and that will warm your heart, this is that. The anime only has, I believe, 1 season. It ends off at a very cute part, though. So I think that it's a great viewing experience. I'm going to put it up in great. Big fan. Next, we have Konosuba. This is a very, very funny show. I don't think I would call it it's not really slice of life. It does have like an overarching story, kind of. It's very funny. It's very adult humor. Can be pretty risky at times. So I don't know if I would say kids watch this show, but I would say it's very funny. And if that's the type of humor that you're into, I think you'll enjoy it. Just because of the risky nature, I'm going to put it in not the worst. Not recommending it for children, obviously. If that's your kind of humor and comedy, go for it. I think that you would really enjoy it. Next, we have the Magi series. Actually, one of the first series I watched, mainly because it was one of the few that was on like Netflix at the time. So it starts off Magi Labyrinth of Magic. I actually think I watched them out of order. I watched Adventure of Sinbad first, which is kind of like a spinoff. But I watched, so Labyrinth of Magic it's interesting. It follows Aladdin and Alibaba, I believe. I haven't watched it in a while, so if I get this incorrect, I apologize. But they go through dungeons, and if you beat the dungeon, there's like a djinn, and they give you like magical a magical artifact that you can summon them through and do all this magic stuff. The story's pretty interesting. I can't remember too much about it, honestly, but I'm gonna put it in not the worst. Kingdom of Magic, its like successor, did get a little odd. I don't think I knew it at the time, but I think that there is like an Israel-Palestine like allegory in there. It gets a little odd, and they don't have it. I don't know if they got renewed for anything, so I think it kind of just ends there in the story. Like, kind of ends on cliffhangers. We don't really see where it goes. For that reason, I'm going in eh. Adventure of Sinbad, though, was pretty good. It follows Sinbad, who is a badass, and he's just great. I'm going to put that in mid, because I just like Sinbad. He was a very cool character, and it was great seeing his origins. Next, we have Mob Psycho 100. This is an incredible anime. One, the animation, top notch. So good. It seems goofy just because of how he is drawn, but once like fights get into action and like powers are being used, it's so nice to look at. The story is also very compelling. The last season came out recently and had me crying at the end. So it does have like emotional ties in there, and I think that you watch it, you would also feel that. It's great. I think I highly recommend it. Go for it. Next, we have My Hero Academia. I do have the manga for this series. I am a big fan of it. I think I'm going to put it in great. Yeah, I like all the characters. I would put it incredible, but I think the story's going in a different way than I kind of thought. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm enjoying where it's going, I will say. Some of the choices that happen just kind of take it from incredible to great for me, but hey, don't let that, it's not stinky or anything. It's still a very great anime. I think that you should go watch it. It's got some heartwarming moments. Main character Deku really makes you proud of him with his growth. I'm going to be totally honest. Moving on from there, we have my main shonen anime. I think everyone has their never-ending shonen anime that they like. Mine is Naruto. Part 1 OG Naruto is peak. It's so good. The edginess of the characters, how they talk to each other, the clothes that they wear is just so edgy and great, and it's like a time capsule of that period, and it's so good. The fights are really good. The story is interesting and compelling. It sets up tropes that we still see in anime today. Like a lot of anime gets compared to Naruto for good reason. Naruto's great, very much a trendsetter. And next we have Naruto Shippuden, which I'm going to put in great. It is an incredible anime, don't get me wrong. Naruto Shippuden. The Pain arc, so good. One of the best anime arcs I've seen, just in general. The reason it doesn't make incredible tier is because the animation studio didn't let the manga artist finish. And so we get seasons upon seasons of filler episodes where it's like we're in a war. The actual story is like we're in a war and there's this crazy battle going on, and right in the middle of the battle we get a whole like 22 episode season of filler that does not matter at all, doesn't correlate to what's going on, and it's just you gotta wait a whole season to get the closure of what was going on. And at that point, are you gonna remember? Like it was like if you were watching it as it came out, it was almost a torturous experience because of all of that filler. And I challenged myself. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna skip any filler. I watched all the filler for original Naruto, and I watched most of the filler for Shippuden. And at one point, I think it was the season of filler where they're just on a boat and they're just like sailing for 22 episodes. I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And I looked up a watch guide and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then when I rewatched it with my fiance and I did no filler at all, it was a much better experience. So if you do watch Shippuden, use a filler guide. Next we have Boruto. I don't have much good to say about Boruto, if I'm going to be totally honest. If you like it, hey, that's your opinion. I support you. I'm glad that you enjoy it. It's not the best for me. It can be very slow. It can be a bit too slice of lifey for me. Some of the time skip designs for the original Naruto cast, I'm not the biggest fans of. Some of the plot that happens, I'm like, really? You gotta do that? Come on. So for these reasons, I don't know if I'm gonna put it in stinky. It's kind of like in between stinky and I'm just gonna put it in for now. Next we have Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Evangelion, however you say it, I'm not sure. This is a trip. It's like, I think they're 14, like 14-year-old kids piloting giant, massive mechs fighting like interdimensional beings, and they're just unprepared, and the army just throws them at them, and they don't care how the kids are feeling. The ending is very artistic and like very trippy, and kind of need to look it up sometimes because it kind of comes out of nowhere. But it is a very classic, great show. I'm gonna put it in great. Borderline incredible. I know there's like supplemental material on this. I haven't seen any of it. I'm sure that might push it up into incredible, but I'm gonna keep it in great for now. Next we have Nichijou, which if you remember from the beginning of the video is a lot like Average Life of High School Boys. Slice of life, very cute, very funny, mainly just like comedy skits here and there. I think anyone would enjoy this show. I think it's a very good casual watching experience, very funny. I actually am gonna put it above Average Life of High School Boys. Next we have One Punch Man. Another one where I have the manga. The last one, I only have 6 series of manga at the moment. Big fan of One Punch Man. I don't have a lot of the manga, I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't have manga to go past what has been animated. So I don't know what's beyond season 2. I've seen spoilers here and there, and I think it's interesting. I wanna know, I wanna get there. I have not yet. I'm gonna put One Punch Man in great tier. Fight scenes are all incredible, and very funny anime, great at subverting expectations, great at breaking the mold, great at like overarching commentary about like the genre as a whole. I think it's a very, very good, great anime that I think most people should watch. I think it's a great anime to get people into anime in general. If they're not the biggest fan, if they never really watched anything, I think One Punch Man is a very good like starting point. Next we have Overlord. Overlord's an interesting one because it's very like, there are good fight scenes in it, don't get me wrong, but it's mainly like political drama with a lot of like sexual not even undertones. There's a lot of sexual like stuff going on, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it doesn't need that. I think we could have more like different content going on where it's like more relevant to the story, if you know what I mean, like less fan service. I do think the story is very interesting. So the premise is it's an isekai, which if you don't know what that is, it's like people getting transported to another world and they have to start from fresh. So his isekai is he plays a video game with his friends, and he's like this like level 100 like lich mage, like undead. He's got all of these awesome powers. He's got like this crypt and this whole dungeon that him and his guild has made, and the game is about to shut down. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay in the game till they shut down. It's like one of those VR things. So he's in the game, he's sitting at his thing, he's like, this is great. The timer goes down, goes to 0, and he's still in it. And now he's stuck. He's stuck in this world. It's a different world, actually. His whole like guild, like castle thing got transported to another world. So it's him, his NPCs that him and his guild has created, all of his like treasure and powers, and nobody in this new world can stop him. So it's just like him doing political moves to try to take over the world. Like that premise is pretty interesting. I just wish they didn't have as much fan service as they did. So I'm gonna put it in mid. Next we have Record of Ragnarok. I watched this recently. It's all right. I think some of the character interactions are interesting. I think the premise is interesting. I don't know how much I like the execution of it. I don't think I can say too much on this, honestly. It was this very, like, I just kind of watched it to watch it. I wasn't super interested. I just kind of needed some background noise. I did watch it, though. It's not like I just had it on and didn't watch it. So I'm actually going to put it in not the worst, because there are some good parts in it. There's like a couple good fights. There's only like 7 fights so far. There's only 2 seasons. I think they're making more. I'd be interested in to watch more. Next we have Sword Art Online. This was actually one of the first anime I watched, like getting into the genre. This is one of the first that I watched. And I gotta say, they lost me there near the end. I haven't watched all like the sequel series or all those extra seasons or anything. I watched the first 2 seasons kind of ends on a nice button there, and they just go off and do all these other things that I haven't watched. But the original Sword Art Online, they had me in the beginning, had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Second half did not do it for me, Chief. I didn't really like that his stepsister was like falling in love with him, and there was like weird shit there. We really need that, if I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't know if I'd call it stinky. Maybe I think I'm gonna put it in Next we have Tanya the Evil. This is a series that my friend Dan recommended to me. We watched together. Interesting premise. Basically, I forget like the actual, like basically God is fucking with this guy and kills him and has him like reborn as like this tiny little girl near like World War I era. But like there's also magic now. So this person with like advanced knowledge of like the future and like modern day goes back to World War I time with magic and like really kind of fucks shit up on the battlefield. I forget what side they're on. They might be German. I forget. But it's an interesting series. I think if you're interested in like wartime stuff, I think it could be a good series for you. I'm gonna put it in not the worst. It's just not one of my favorites, but it's still good. The God of High School. This is one, I think it was like a Crunchyroll exclusive. I watched it, and I forgot all about it. If I'm gonna be totally honest, it wasn't that memorable. I think the fight scenes were pretty good, if I remember correctly. Everyone had like this rosy cheek thing going on that made them all look stereotypical drunk, but they weren't. Can't remember a single character's name. I don't even know if it's stinky. I'm gonna put it in if I'm being totally honest. I think stinky's kind of harsh. Next we have The Rising of Shield Hero. This is another interesting isekai. I don't think there's too much fan service in, if I remember correctly. There's a very interesting premise where like he's one of the 4 like savior people that were sent to this world, and his thing is a shield, but it's hard for him to like level up and stuff. But he gets like framed at the beginning by like political stuff, and he's like exiled, and it's very, very difficult for him. So it's interesting to see his rise. I'm gonna put it in mid. Next we have The 7 Deadly Sins. This is one where I was super into it in the beginning, and then like either it was the animation quality or just like the story, they just kind of lost me. Got very slow and kind of clunky. The first season or season or 2 was great, and then I just kind of feel like they didn't quite get where it was going. I'm gonna put it in not the worst. Next we have Tokyo Ghoul. This is a favorite among a lot of people. It's very dark, very edgy. This is another one where beginning was so good. If I'm gonna be honest, the beginning was great. The middle was very, very good too. The middle was great. The last season, they lost me. And I think they lost a lot of people because they did this thing where it's like a time skip where the main character is changed and he has amnesia, and there's a whole new cast of characters, and halfway through the season we see how we got there, and it's just so fucking confusing, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Super confusing. They lost me, and by the end I was just kind of like, what is going on here? Beginning and middle were very interesting. They had me engaged. I'm gonna put it in mid because the ending, they just lost me. Tower of God. This is one where I think this was another Crunchyroll exclusive. I don't know if they're making a season 2 or not, but it's the season 1 seemed like all set up. It seemed like a lot of setup for season 2, and the rest of the show, it ends at like that point where like we're about to do some stuff, but it ends. I was a fan of the animation style. I thought the animation was very good. I thought the story was pretty compelling, even though it was a lot of setup. I'm gonna put it in mid. Yasuke. This is I think this is another Netflix exclusive. Netflix exclusive. Has great music by Flying Lotus. If you like chill hop and stuff like that, the music in it is really good. The world is odd because it's like Japan around samurai time. Forget what period that is. But there's like mechs and magic and stuff like that. So it's an odd world. Story's pretty good. Animation's pretty good. Honestly, one of the biggest draws of it is the music, if I'm going to be totally honest. I really, really liked the music. I'm going to put it in not the worst. And with that, it seems we come to the end of the tier list. No more stuff to put up. So this is what we're looking at. We got only one thing in Stinky, and there's a reason for that. 5 and I would say that's pretty accurate. Not the worst. Mid. Got our good anime here. A lot of great anime and a decent amount of incredible anime, if I'm going to be totally honest. These are not in order in the tiers. Obviously, they're just in alphabetical order. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to order these, if I'm going to be totally honest. I'll just do the incredible. I think it's JoJo. Jujutsu Kaisen. These are like my big three right now, if I'm being totally honest. I think this is how I would rate The Incredible. We got JoJo, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Naruto, Fullmetal Alchemist, Mob Psycho 100, Cowboy Bebop, and Castlevania. I think those are all pretty incredible. Great. Again, some of these in great could be an incredible, but it's just like some nitpicky reasons. I do recommend you watch some of these anime, form the opinion for yourself, see what you like. Tell me where you would rank these in the comments below. Let me know if there's any that I missed. I have a list of things to watch, so maybe if I missed it, I can put it on the list, and we'll have an updated one of these sometime in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's a pleasure having you here. Hopefully I can get back on this grind and make some consistent content for you guys, maybe vary it up a bit. Not everyone's the biggest Magic fan. I totally understand that. So I'm going to try to cast a wider net for you guys. Hopefully I can make some good content that you enjoy and that you like. Thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great day.